Hi guys, this is the video for the review exam 1 for Precalculus question 1 on distances and line formulas. So the question is draw the points between 3, 9 and -1, -7. I already set that up, and now the question is sorry, left my stylus packed up. I got to find the distance between these 2 points, the slope between these 2 points, and the formula for the line. So the way I attack this is first I make the corner point, which I take the x from 3, 9, so it's 3, and the y from -1, -7 is -7, so it gives me a point at 3, -7. And what we're going to do is go from 3, 9 down here, and go from here over here. So this gives me, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, to do this graphically. I tend to start graphically. So a is going to be, well, from 9, we're going to go down 9, and then another 7. So this is going to be negative, oh, come on, I can draw better than that, and even that, -16. And this guy is b, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is, b is -4. And so we have -16, and parentheses are your friends when doing this problem, squared plus, this is -4 squared equals c squared. So -16 squared is 256. Now, I can do that in my head, but you shouldn't do that. You should use your calculator to calculate these. Because under the pressure of the exam, it's very easy to make arithmetic mistakes. And so, yeah, and remember, squares of negative numbers in parentheses come out positive. So -4 squared is going to be just 16, and that's equal to c squared. And that's going to be 272 equals c squared. We square root both sides. Now, since this is a length of a diagonal, we just need the positive root, and that's this, 272. So that's graphically the answer to part A. So this is the answer to part A. Square root of 272. Okay. Algebraically, we use the distance formula, which will be, okay, all right, so let me just get a square root symbol, okay, and that, and now everything's good. So we're going to take the square root of y2 minus y1. Okay, let's just write that down. y2 minus y1 squared plus, remember, it's subtract the guys, x2 minus x1 squared is our distance formula. And what I'm going to do is plug in the numbers. Now, it's going to come out very similar to the graphically because it's the same problem. So we're going to say, we're going to replace y2 with -7, since that's the second y. So we're going to take this, instead of y2, I'm going to put in -7. Instead of y1, I'm going to put in 9, because that's here, 9. So it becomes minus 7 minus 9. This guy is going to be x2, which is negative 1. We'll put minus 1 is x2, and x1 is 3. Because I'm just pulling it right out of the pound. Now make sure you copy the right numbers in or you get the wrong answer. Now the graphically gives you a kind of check on that. Now what we're going to get here is this guy. Now we do the basic arithmetic. And minus 7 minus 9 is simply minus 16. And minus 1 minus 3. Once again, when you're dealing with negative numbers and whatnot, use your calculator. Okay, at this point, we have exactly the same problem as this, basically, except it's all in a square root. So we do exactly negative 16 squared is 256. Negative 4 squared is 16. And finally, we come to exactly the same answer, which is the way it really should end up, which is 272. And that is the answer to part A. Okay. So now I'm going to do the slope graphically. Well, this is not only A, negative 16 is also the change in Y, because that's how Y is changing. And negative 4 is not only B, it's also how X is changing. So I'm going to write delta X. And so we get delta Y over delta X. And this is the answer to part B, by the way, equals negative 16 over negative 4 equals, the negatives cancel, 16 over 4 is 4. So that's the answer to part B. So that's graphically. Algebraically, what we're going to do is take y2 minus y1 again. Okay, so I'll write down the formula again. Okay, and we have y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And so that's our formula for doing this algebraically. Slope. Okay, so now we're going to plug in. And we plug that in, so I'm going to get y2, once again, let me bring that back on the screen, is minus 7. And y1 is 9. And we're going to divide that by x2, which is minus 1. And we're going to subtract off the x1, which is, the first x is 3. Oops, that's not where the 3 should be. Right next to the 1, there. And our result, I'll just plug that right into the built-in calculator of OneNote, and I get 4 is the answer to, and this is the answer to B. Stop that. B. Here's the answer to B. Now part C is going to be, okay, now that I found the slope is 4, I'm going to go from the first point to the last point. I'm going to drop down dots. Okay, so we're going to go over 1 up 4. That doesn't get us weird, so we're going to go back 1. That's negative. Change of x is -1. Down 4. 1, 2, from 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. It gives us 5. From 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 brings us to 1. From 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 brings us to -3. And from -3, 1, 2, 3, 4 brings us to -7, which is the other point. So that checks that we got this right. And from here, we'd go down over here. So if I want to draw this line, this is what it looks like. Given enough points. And this guy is the y-intercept. And that is -3. So my formula turns into y equals 2x, not 2x, 4x. The slope is 4. Just got that. 4x minus 3. So that's what we did. Now, algebraically, what I'm going to do right here for part C is I'm going to say y equals the formula slope times x plus intercept. Fingers got to be in the right spots. And so my slope, so my y value, I'm going to pick one of these points. I'll pick the first point, 3, 9. Might as well. I'll get 9 is our first y value, equals slope 4 times 3 plus intercept. 4 times 3, everyone knows is 12, so I'll subtract 12 from both sides. And that gives me -3 is the intercept. So my formula now, I'll move this guy up a little bit so it doesn't bang into the other stuff, is y equals 4x minus 3, the same answer. And that's what you should, because it's the same problem. We're just doing it, solving it using two different techniques. Now, the final part is we want to do a little check on this. So I'm going to use -1, -7 to check. When I plug in -1, I should get -7. So 4 times -1 minus 3, and I plug that into my calculator, is -7, and that's a check. And that's the answer to review exam question 1. All of this work is is the graph and the algebra to solve this whole thing. So this whole thing. And I will stop right here.